As a chronic whip abandoner, me finishing an object is a once in a lifetime blue moon eclipse occasion. Friend, I'm almost done knitting my weekend tote by Pearl Soho and I literally cannot believe it. And so I thought we would sit down tonight and we would knit together and we would witness this beautiful event together. You can see the construction of the bag. I'm literally obsessed with it. It's like this little I was gonna say V-neck, but it's not a top. It's like the bag rendition of a V-neck with the two stripes. Basically, I'm on the part where we're just doing decreases, and then the top is joined by the Kitchener stitch. And so I'm really excited. I haven't had much time to knit this week, but I have dedicated these next couple of days to really pulling her together. I am going to the farmer's market this weekend, and so I feel like this would be such a cute bag to carry. I'm already like, planning a little outfit. Are we into the bag? Get into the look. Do we love her? I think what I love actually so much about this bag is the yarn that I'm using. I'm obsessed with the color. It's starting to feel heavy like a real bag. I guess that's the effect of cotton yarn. I this is why my main knitting goal this year is to knit things that I'm excited about. I have loved this bag since the moment I've casted it on. It's been maybe like 2 or 3 weeks now. It is a smaller project, so I was able to beat the knitting fatigue, but I think more than anything, what I'm learning is in order for me to want to finish projects, in order for me to, like have things that I complete, not abandon my project halfway through, I have to knit things that I'm excited about. And so, I don't know, I'm excited to finish this one. I was excited to knit it. I wouldn't mind knitting it in another color as well. I'm thinking maybe like an olive, but we are in the final stages of the bag. And so I'm really excited about it. I cannot wait to finish it. I'm hoping that I finish the bag tonight. What time is it? It's like almost 8 o'clock. I don't know if I'll be able to finish knitting it tonight just because it is starting to get late already. But I think between today and tomorrow, I'll be able to finish knitting the bag. And then also I am going to line the bag. So tomorrow I'm going to go to the thrift store to find a fabric to line the bag. And then hopefully, I'll have made enough significant progress. I'll have made enough progress tonight so that tomorrow we don't have much to do. Just secure the handles hopefully and then line the bag. Wait, sorry, friend. 1, 2, 3. I have like 50 something ish. Friend, I don't want to go back and count. I counted a couple rows ago. I have like 50 something ish stitches and I have to keep decreasing until I hit 9 stitches. I wrote everything down in my little rundown knitting notebook. We love her so dearly. Literally like every single page is filled up. But I wrote everything down here and so we're just knitting for the night. We're knitting for the night. I'm so excited to finish this project. Sorry, friend. It gets real serious when we're doing the decreases. I have to concentrate. I don't want to have to go back and, like I've already made it. I've already made it so far ahead. I've already convinced myself, to not go crazy and obsess over the few mistakes that I've made. And so we're in a really good place on this knit. I don't want to mess it up. Before I sat down to film, I deleted all of the videos off my phone, because I didn't want the notification to pop up like, oh, you have no storage. And literally in the middle of me talking, the notification pops up, we stopped recording, girl, you don't have no storage. And I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? But I forgot to go to the recently deleted and delete the stuff out of there. So I guess that's my bad. But what were we talking about? I'm going to get my fabric from the thrift store just because vintage clothes, vintage fabric is so much better than what's going on right now. Like before we had Shein, before we had Temu, we had 100% cotton in really cool colors and patterns. So that's why I like to go to the thrift store. Hopefully I'll find like a flannel. Usually I look for like flannels or men's shirts just because they're big enough to use for multiple projects. How big is this bag? I have like a decent amount to line because I'm gonna line the straps as well. So I have to line the entire bottom and the straps. So I'm gonna look for, that's usually where I start, like when I thrift my fabrics, I'll start in the men's t-shirt section. Okay, wait, friend, we're on another decrease. I gotta concentrate real quick. I will say knitting with this cotton yarn has got me thinking about what I'm about to make for the summertime. And I feel like, okay, first of all, it's not too early to start your summer knits, right? It's literally, what month is this? It's about to be March. No, it's not too early, especially considering knitting, takes a really long time to do. So I'm already starting to think of what I want to knit for the summertime. I do 100% want to knit some type of like sweater, like a beach sweater, not necessarily like a cover up, but like, when you're at the beach at nighttime or you just go out at nighttime and like sometimes it gets a little bit colder, but like maybe not cold enough to wear like an entire wool cardigan. I want to knit like some type of cotton pullover. I did find this pattern. Goodness, I'll put the screenshot on the screen. I think it's called the maybe Northwood, something like that, that pattern. I found that one and it's like a v-neck too. Traditionally, I'm not a v-neck girl, but this pattern, and I was looking at some of the projects and I was like, okay, wait, this is really cute. Somebody posted their project and it was a cotton version of it. I'm not even gonna lie, friend, if you ever see this video, I'm biting you verbatim. The color choice that they used was so cute. They used cotton yarn. It was like a white and like a taupe-ish like stripes, like big chunky stripes. I feel like that in cotton yarn for a summer pullover, that would be really cute, right? So that's something that I'm like, I want to make, like for sure that I want to make. That's probably the biggest thing for the summer that I want to make. I also, oh my gosh, I'm literally so into ponchos right now. I'm loving ponchos so much. I think a cotton poncho would be really cute. I've been looking for, like a pattern on how to make a poncho. And I feel like one, two, three, four. I feel like all the patterns that I've seen have not necessarily been like the style that I'm looking for. So after some research and some videos, I've kind of I kind of understand the construction and the shape of a poncho. So I'm going to attempt to make my own poncho without a pattern. I did also see this pattern for a poncho, but it's a crochet pattern. The design on it is kind of intricate and like I used to be pretty good at crochet. I'm probably half decent now, but I don't know. The pattern is kind of intimidating as someone who hasn't worked through a crochet pattern in years. So I don't know. But this was a pattern that I thought was really cute. I don't know, a poncho for sure. Also I feel like a poncho because my idea is to make it on worsted yarn and then probably like 5 milliliter or 6 milliliter needles, so not anything that's super tiny. I feel like a poncho would be so cute. A poncho would be so cute. You could wear it like over jeans, you could wear it over shorts, you could wear it over a skirt. And then also I think in cotton yarn. A poncho and a pullover though, will I be able to do both if I had to only choose one? Maybe a poncho just because it would be self-drafted and I do love knitting patterns. I'm literally following a knitting pattern right now, but sometimes knitting patterns feel like somebody telling you what to do. And friend, I don't like being told what to do. If I had to choose one, maybe only a poncho. Also, I feel like it would probably work up a little bit quicker. We're trying to we're trying to race against the knitting fatigue. But those are two really like strong ideas I have. Also, my idea was to knit like a halter dress. That feels intimidating though, just because I would have to freehand it. My plan is to use, you know, like a halter pattern for the top, but then I'd have to freehand 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 the bottom of the dress. I'd have to freehand the bottom of the dress. And I'm pretty confident in my knitting skills. I feel like I'd be able to figure out the decreases and where to put them and how to put them in like what position, but it is intimidating. Also, my body measurements are very unique, and so I feel like it would take a lot of math and finesse, and I don't really know if I'll be able to like stay dedicated for it that long. Also, it's like if I made a dress, I wouldn't want it to be like this super mini dress, you know, like it would need a little bit of length to it. I feel like that's something that maybe we literally opened up this video and said that I am a chronic whip abandoner and I never finish any projects, so this is like a holiday for me. So knitting an entire dress without any type of instruction or guidance, when I'm saying it out loud, it kind of feels like a pipe dream. But that was something that was kind of like on my mind to make. Mainly, I'm just thinking of like what garments would I love to have in a cotton yarn? What garments do I want to layer for the summer? Ooh, some sleeves. Actually, some sleeves. I think I would make sleeves before I made a poncho, before I made the pullover. I would love to make a pair of sleeves. I did make a pair of cotton sleeves last year to wear over my swimsuit, and I loved it so much. It was in, the color was actually really similar to this one. Uh, It was the Lion brand yarn. I think the shade name was Terracotta. I thought those sleeves were so cute. I still wear them, and I feel like having some more in some other colors would be really cute. Also, the sleeves, the guide that I use, it doesn't take me that long to make them. I could probably get some like multiple sleeves done, you know, in the season. So that's something that I've been thinking about. I want to compile like an official list of like, you know, possible summer makes and look at it more realistically. I think what has been able to keep me going making this bag actually is the fact that I've been excited about the project from start to finish. Like literally I'm thinking about what I'm going to carry it with. I'm figuring out how I'm going to incorporate it into my life. And I think for someone like me who is always chasing the novelty of a new project, the only way I'll be able to stick with my old projects if I plan on using them. I feel like knitting for fun is really fun until you have nothing that you've actually until you have nothing that you've actually finished knitting. So I really just want to be, I think, strategic about everything that I'm going to be making this year, just because I do at the end of the year want to have a collection, you know, of all of the things that I finished. And I've noticed that when I make things that maybe like visually look really fun in pictures, but not necessarily something that would go with my wardrobe or something that, you know, I could fit into everyday life. They kind of just sit in the box, and I feel like I spend so much time on my knitting. I want to wear my knits. I want to wear my knits. If it's taking me 2 weeks to knit this bag, friend, I want to take my bag out and about. I want people to stop me dead in their tracks on the street and be like, "Girl, I love your bag." And to which I would reply, "Thank you. I made it." But that can't happen if I don't finish any of my projects. You feel me? I love this pattern so much. I actually really love this bag so much. Yee! I promised to myself that I wouldn't cast anything new on until I finished one of my whips. And so that's also why, you know, that's also why I have to finish this one because I want to start a new project. But I'm really happy that I stuck through it, actually. This has been a lesson to me to be more selective with the things that I choose to make. Same, I think, with the color choices. Overall, just being, I think, a little bit more picky about, my knits and to make sure that they're things that I want to wear. Okay, friend, we're basically just gonna be decreasing until infinity. I'll come back after I've finished a few rows. Friend, I literally found the most perfect fabric to line the bag. Imagine my surprise when I walk into the thrift store and immediately I find a fabric that matches very closely my reference photo. This was the photo that I had saved of like the kind of fabric that I wanted to line the bag with. And so I was going in and just hoping to find something as close to this as possible. And then I found this diva. I am obsessed. Even just holding them up next to each other, I think this is the most perfect fabric ever to line this bag with. So I'm really excited. I got it for $6.98. Actually, today was a good thrift day. I was trying not to get carried away. I only got like these two other things because I saw them. But I got this camo hat. How cute. Literally how cute. I'm debating on if I should put words on it or like just leave it the way that it is. I do have that camo shirt. I've worn it in a few videos. My lesbian shirt, the one that I made for Pride last year, that's actually a DIY. It was like a long sleeve shirt that I had thrifted, and then I had made it short sleeves and I added the hot pink letters on it. I don't know, would this camo hat be really cute with hot pink letters? I don't think I would put lesbian on. I don't think I'd put lesbian on it, but I don't know. Would it be cute? I'm debating, but I don't know. This hat's really cute. I'm going to wash it. And then, I love my little tube top. I got this little tube top for $191, so it's cute. So yes, I have been working on the bag. I worked on it a little bit last night and I worked on it a little bit this morning. I feel like I feel like you can barely tell. How many stitches do I have on here? Maybe 40 something. Maybe we're in the 40s now, but I feel like I kind of have a long way to go. I have to decrease all the way until 9, and like the decrease is every other row, so I kind of got a lot of rows to go. But I do need to take the fabric to line the bag. I do need to take it to get washed. So while it's washing, I'm going to be knitting a little bit, and then we'll see how far we can get done. But even if I'm not able to finish knitting while it's washing, I really do feel like we'll be able to finish tonight. How cute is she? Can you see the vision? Yeah, yeah. So friend, we're back home from the laundromat. Okay, so I am finally done with this handle. I messed up a little bit on the corners. What's the corners? Like the edging. It's not as clean on this one as it is on the first one, but you know what, friend, it is what it is. So I have the 9 stitches that match the 9 stitches on here, and so now I have to join them. I'm reading the instructions, and low-key I feel like I'm having an aneurysm trying to understand this. Okay, so basically leave stitches on needles, cut yarn. 13 inches. How much is 13 inches? It says leave 13 inches, so let's see how long that is. Okay, we'll leave 15 inches for good luck. On hold stitches onto other end of needles. Onto other end of needles. What does that mean? Onto other end of needles. This one? It says the Kitchener stitch is coming up. I've never done that. What is that? Kitchener stitch? I've literally never even heard of that. I'm gonna have to look that up. Hold needles parallel with tips pointing to right. Right is that way, right? Okay. Yeah. What the? Using long tail and Kitchener stitch. Oh baby, I don't even know what the hell the Kitchener stitch is. Okay, Let's look up and see what the Kitchener, is that how you say it? Kitchener. Yeah, that's how you say it. Kitchener stitch. Kitchener stitch? Who came up with that? Am I the only one when I'm watching a tutorial, like, if I'm watching a tutorial for a step that I need on the pattern, I'm literally looking for the shortest tutorial. Yes, I am a product of short form content. If I just need a really quick technique for my pattern, I feel like the video should be 1 minute max. So let's see which one is the shortest video. Okay, this one's 3 minutes and 58 seconds. Maybe we'll do that one. Is that embarrassing that I said that out loud? Probably a little bit, but I'm going to be honest about it, friend. Should I write this down? Knit off. Okay, wait, I'll put it on. I'll put it in my notes digitally because I don't know where my notebook is. Why does this remind me of what's it called? The Italian bind off. My arch nemesis, the Italian bind off. Anyone else? I feel like it's kind of giving like knit off, purl on, off, purl off, knit off, purl on. That's kind of like what I was remembering when I was doing the bind off for the 1x1 rib. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have sped up the video considering how I have no idea. I sped up the 3-minute tutorial video, y'all. When I said my brain has been fried out by social media, I'm not being funny. I know that's the running joke, like, oh, social media made me dumber. It made my attention span trash. Social media made me dumber and my attention span is trash. Like, I found the shortest tutorial and then I still had to put it in 1.5 speed. Like, girl, chill out. Okay, now I'm rewinding it because it was going too fast. I'm gonna write it down because what the hell?
That tightens up your Kitchener stitch just enough to match the gauge of your project.
This is very much giving Italian bind off vibes, and that's literally why I hate doing that. And I don't even have my glasses on, so this is kind of hell. I think it's only like 6 or 7 stitches. My stitches are already falling off the needles too. Jeez. I think everything is going good. Well, I guess no, it's not, because on one needle I only have 3. Oh, I dropped a stitch. I was like, wait, where did all my wait, they're sliding off the needles. Okay, I actually kind of hate this. I'm not having a good time anymore. I'm gonna pull this off. I pulled everything off and I'm just gonna pull the yarn slightly and hopefully I can see the stitches. Friend, this is literally such a mess right now. I have no idea what's going on. Okay, I'm gonna do whatever this is. And then we'll come back and actually line the bag. See, I told you a knitting nothing ever goes the way that you expect it to go. You literally see I'm on the last step. Like, can a girl catch a break? It's gonna take me a second to figure this out and I need to like find my glasses because okay, friend, we'll be back. I'll be right back. Kitchener stitch is done to the best of my abilities. And wait, friend, we got to do a little modeling session. How cute. Wait, the bag is done. I'm gonna clean up the stitches on the top just a little bit right before I line it. But how cute is the bag? I feel like it's pretty big too, and it comfortably fits over my shoulder. One thing I don't like about some bags, I guess when you hand make it though, you can make the measurements however you want, but I don't like bags when like the shoulder, like the part that you put in your shoulder, when it's too tight under your arm or like it's too small. This is really cute actually. Bag is done. Kitchener stitch almost took me out, but here we are standing tall. At the end of the video, she was like, once you're done, it should look like a row of knit. And I was like, this is supposed to look like a row of knit? I did my best though, and I think it's gonna hold up pretty well. Um, so next we're on to lining the bag. The fabric is washed. Let me get the fabric actually. I'm trying to see like if I can make the lining one piece and then just sew it, or if I should make the lining multiple pieces, like sew the multiple lining pieces together and then stitch it onto the bag. I am gonna hand stitch the lining onto the bag just because I don't like to put any of my knits, my hand knits, through the sewing machine. But for the lining, if I have to connect the pieces, I guess I could like sew them together with the machine. That way I could hand knit the bag. Wait, if cotton comes out the dryer, you don't have to iron it, do you? I was going to iron it, but low-key I'm kind of not in the mood. I think I'm gonna try to cut the lining and then possibly like sew the lining together with the machine, and then that way I can hand stitch it. I'm feeling like that makes the most sense. The lining will most likely have to be multiple pieces just because I'm not really sure how I could, you know, like make it one giant piece. Friend, literally my brain is like malfunctioning. Okay, I think final plan. I'm going to cut out the lining. I'm like kind of confused on what shape I should cut the lining. Why do I feel like my brain is making this more complicated than it needs to be? Let me figure out how to cut the lining. I'm going to sew it together with the machine if I need to, and then that way my goal is to have it just be one piece. That way I can hand stitch, you know, that one piece. Good morning, friend. It is the next morning. I started to seam up the bag. I'm gonna be honest, doing the lining for the bag it literally took me all night. I know I've said this like 5,000 times, so I'm gonna say it 5,001 times. I'm actually literally so obsessed with this project, and I feel like the lining, oh my gosh. I was so lucky with the lining. Everything's really coming together and it's starting to feel like, you know, real hefty, like a real bag. When I sew my bags up, I don't use like one continuous piece of thread just because I feel like it's more likely to get tangled. And when you're using sewing thread, it is so skinny. Once you get a tangle, like almost always the only way to clean up the mess is to just cut it and get a new piece. I also like hand sewing my lining fabric because I feel like I have more control over the stitches, if that makes sense. Like I can make the stitches as big as I want to. I can place them where I want to. I feel like I have more control. Also, I'm just terrified of putting my knits through the sewing machine. Is that only me? Like low-key, when I see someone doing a crochet or a knitting project and they're finishing, you know, the project with a lining or whatever, and I see them use the sewing machine, I'm like, friend, are you sure? My promise to myself was that I wasn't gonna cast on anything new until I finished this tote bag. So now like I'm literally obsessing and spending way too many hours trying to figure out what I want to make next. I need to start using some of the yarn in my stash. My biggest issue when trying to plan knits with yarn in my stash is that for some reason, unless I have a very specific project in mind and I'm buying yarn for that project, I only buy like one skein of yarn, like one color of a skein. So there aren't many, like colors in my stash where I have enough to make more than a beanie without making it color changing or without doing stripes. That's actually the reason why most of my projects have stripes, is because I didn't have enough yarn to do one solid color. This is kind of a big deal for me as someone who doesn't finish any projects. Not only am I finishing a project, but I'm lining it too. That's kind of crazy. If that doesn't explain how much I love this knit, then I really don't know what will. I went through hell with that lining piece yesterday. The shape of the bag looks really simple. I mean, I guess it is really simple, but it was just the fact, that I was using a flannel, so I had to figure out how to cut the fabric so that way I can make sure I had enough. And then also, the flannel had like a lot of its own issues going on. Like I had to seam rip all of the pockets off. The strap, how it gets skinny at the top, this was kind of a weird moment too. I'm not even gonna wait for people to be like, oh, I like your bag, where'd you get it? I'm finna just walk up to everybody and be like, do you like my bag? Oh, yeah. I made it. We are literally in the final moments. We are witnessing history as we speak. Is this my first finished object of the year? That's crazy. I did count the bonnet as a finished object technically, even though it was almost nearly finished last year, and the only thing that I did was like finish the straps. But if we're talking about a project that I start and finish in 2026, this is my first finished object of the year. Friend, the tote bag is done, and isn't she the cutest? I had so much fun making this. My knitting goal this year is to only make things I'm obsessed with, so I feel like we're off to a really good start. Would I knit this bag again? For sure. If my energy levels are decent, we might even have another one before the summer. Thank you again for spending time with me. I hope you had fun. Friend, as always, stay hot, keep knitting. You're that for real. Happy Sunday, and I'll see you next week. Bye.